He called himself a civilizer, but the world remembers him as one of history's most ruthless tyrants, a man who ruled not only Belgium, but an entire land thousands of miles away, a land he turned into his personal empire of greed and death, the Congo Free State. This is the dark and powerful story of King Leopold II of Belgium, a king obsessed with wealth, power and control, whose reign left behind one of the most horrifying legacies of the colonial era. Born in 1835, Leopold was the son of King Leopold I, Belgium's first monarch. From an early age he was not like other princes. Where others dreamed of glory, Leopold dreamed of empires. Belgium was a small, fragile country surrounded by European giants, but young Leopold wanted Belgium to stand among the great powers, Britain, France, Spain, nations that ruled half the world. He studied maps endlessly, fascinated by exploration. He believed that a colony, a vast overseas possession, would bring Belgium wealth, respect and power. When his father died, Leopold II became King of the Belgians in 1865. He was tall, bearded and calculating, a man whose charm hid a cold, ruthless ambition. Belgium's politicians refused to support his dream of colonial conquest. They said the country was too small, too poor, too peaceful. But Leopold would not be stopped. If Belgium would not have a colony, he would have one for himself. He turned his eyes toward Africa, the mysterious dark continent, as Europeans called it, rich in ivory, rubber, gold and minerals. At that time, European powers were racing to claim African lands, and Leopold wanted to join the race, quietly and cleverly. He organized geographical societies, hosted conferences, and funded explorers to travel deep into Africa, all under the disguise of philanthropy and science. Leopold's most brilliant and evil plan was his public image. He claimed to be a humanitarian king who wanted to end the Arab slave trade, bring Christianity and promote civilization in Africa. In reality, he was planning one of the largest land grabs in human history. He sent the famous explorer Henry Morton Stanley to the Congo River basin. Stanley, using a mix of diplomacy and brutality, tricked local chiefs into signing treaties they didn't understand, giving Leopold control over a region nearly 80 times the size of Belgium. In 1885, at the Berlin Conference, European powers officially recognized Leopold's claim, not as a colony of Belgium, but as his personal property. He called it the Congo Free State. But there was nothing free about it. Leopold ruled the Congo like a corporate dictator. He never visited Africa, not once, but from his royal palace in Brussels he controlled everything: the land, the people, and the resources. At first, ivory was the main trade, but soon the world's demand for rubber exploded, thanks to bicycles, telegraphs, and later automobiles. The Congo's forests were full of wild rubber vines, and Leopold saw an opportunity for unimaginable profit. To collect rubber, Congolese villagers were forced into slavery. Men were ordered to bring rubber or face torture. Soldiers known as the force publique enforced quotas with whips and guns. If a man failed to meet his quota, his wife or children were held hostage, or worse. Some soldiers were ordered to cut off the hands of those who resisted, grotesque proof that bullets had not been wasted. Photographs later revealed piles of severed hands, villages burned to the ground, and families destroyed. Leopold's empire of cruelty was hidden behind propaganda. He told Europe he was bringing civilization, while his agents murdered millions in silence. Between 1885 and 1908, an estimated 10 million Congolese people died from overwork, starvation, torture, and disease. The population of entire regions vanished. Children were orphaned, communities erased. Rubber, ivory, and minerals made Leopold one of the richest men in Europe. He built grand palaces, monuments, and gardens across Belgium, funded by the blood and tears of the Congo. In Brussels, people admired his projects, few realizing they were built on suffering, but the truth could not stay hidden forever. Missionaries and travelers who witnessed the horror began to speak out. British consul Roger Casement investigated the atrocities. An African-American journalist, George Washington Williams, was one of the first to call Leopold's rule a crime against humanity. Then came the Congo Reform Association, led by E.D. Morel, who gathered photographs, testimonies, and reports proving that the Congo Free State was built on murder and slavery. Public outrage spread across Europe and America. For the first time, the world united against a king. Leopold responded with lies, denials, and propaganda, but the evidence was too strong. His mask of civilization had been torn away. Under growing pressure, Leopold was forced to act. In 1908, he handed over the Congo Free State, not to the Congolese people but to the Belgian government. The territory became the Belgian Congo, officially ending his personal rule, but not the suffering he had caused. Leopold tried to burn and destroy evidence of his crimes. Thousands of documents were destroyed before his death. He died in 1909, unloved and unmissed. As his funeral procession passed through Brussels, crowds turned their backs in silence, a final act of judgment from his own people. Today, Leopold II is remembered not as a builder, but as one of history's most brutal colonizers. The Congo's scars are still visible, in its struggles, its poverty, and its pain. Historians call his rule one of the great genocides of the modern era, a dark reminder of what happens when power, greed, and racism unite. And yet, his story is not just about a king. It is about the voices that fought back, the missionaries, journalists, and activists who dared to expose the truth when silence was safer. Leopold II dreamed of becoming the greatest monarch of his time. Instead, he became a symbol of evil. His empire was built on rubber and blood, and history will never forget the price the Congo paid.